Right now, there's an urgent evacuation effort underway in Gaza on the heels of several attacks shared between Palestine and Israel.
Laura Aguirre breaks down the dangers facing hostages, including Americans, now caught in the middle of the violence.
We are at war with a very brutal enemy that needs to be defeated squarely.
Along with sustained airstrikes, Israeli troops are now conducting raids across Gaza's border and staging for a larger ground offensive.
We are operating in order to remove this threat once and for all from Israel.
Friday morning, Israel dropped leaflets into northern Gaza, warning over 1 million civilians, leave while you can, head south to safety, while Hamas tells residents to stay put.
But it's pretty clear that what they're trying to do is avoid civilian casualties and also separate Hamas from the human shields.
Human shields, the U.S. says, made of civilians and hostages, including Americans.
Israel has the right, indeed it has the obligation, to defend its people. We continue to discuss with Israel the importance of taking every possible precaution to avoid harming civilians.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Jordan and Qatar Friday, delicately negotiating for humanitarian channels and the release of hostages, while making it clear the U.S. supports Israel in its military objectives.
Let's not lose sight of why this is happening. Israel is conducting operations in Gaza because Hamas carried out terrorist attacks that killed, in the most horrific ways, 1,300 of its people.
They are going to pay the price for the atrocities that they conducted against the people of Israel.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
All right, in the wake of the ongoing unrest, there is a gathering right now for Palestinians to gather in prayer.
Yeah, we've seen both sides of this conflict struggling to cope with the loss of life in the wake of the attack from Hamas. We've got our Rich Nye joining us live today from Fishers. He's got the response from Hoosiers. Rich?
Yeah, Scott and Felicia, I'm told that on Friday is the biggest day, the largest gathering for prayer services here at the Al-Huda Foundation. This mosque behind me is the largest in Indiana, and this is the largest community of Muslims in Indiana, located here in Fishers. 3 prayer services this afternoon, one continuing right now. I was at the first service at 1:30 this afternoon, where people gathered for prayers. This community obviously is made up of Muslims who have heritage and ties to communities all over the world, but there certainly are families here with Palestinian connections. One of those is the superintendent of the Amman School, the local Muslim school here as well. Dr. Shakir Rashid was born in Gaza, lived there until he came to college. He and his wife still have family in Gaza, now among those people trying to evacuate.
It's really hard to describe, and it's been difficult today because my own family and my wife's family, they're under constant bombardment, and I don't know honestly if who's still alive and who's dead at this point. We can't even keep in touch, like we're trying to get in touch with them. I know some of them got injured, but I don't know the extent.
And Dr. Rashid says that it's hard for his family to stay in touch with his family, and it's very hard for them right now to have clear directions about how they should evacuate or where they can go. They're in northern Gaza, and they need to come to southern Gaza. We have noticed some security here this afternoon, although to be honest with you, I believe that's in place almost every week because it's quite a traffic situation between services here as people move in and out. Again, there's a service that should be wrapping up very shortly. We'll probably see more people leaving the mosque here in the next few minutes here at the Al-Huda Foundation, which is the largest mosque in Indiana. We'll have more reaction from this community coming up on 13 News at 5 o'clock.
All right, Rich Nye, thank you. We appreciate you taking us there to Fishers. We'll check back in. And Indiana lawmakers on both sides of the issue are weighing in on this afternoon. Republican Congressman Larry Bouchon says he joined nearly 100 lawmakers sending a bipartisan letter to the president requesting action to prevent Iran from subsidizing Hamas activity, and says President Biden agreed to refreeze $6 billion in Iranian assets. Meanwhile, Democratic Congressman Andre Carson is calling for an end to the violence on both sides, saying, "I've joined my colleagues calling on Hamas to immediately release all hostages and is, quote, co-leading a resolution condemning all war crimes and calling for a ceasefire.
New today at 4, IMPD is increasing patrols and police presence at Jewish synagogues and facilities around the city of Indianapolis. Metro Police posting that news on Facebook today, saying that decision was made out of an abundance of caution. IMPD right now urging people to stay vigilant and aware. So if you see something that doesn't seem right, call 911.
And it's not just Indianapolis that's stepping up patrols. In Washington, D.C., crews put up barriers around the Capitol building and other police agencies as a precaution. Historically, calls for demonstrations by Hamas have not led to large-scale unrest in the U.S., but police are taking extra steps to ensure that everyone remains safe. And it's a similar story in New York City. That's where police are increasing patrols in high transit areas, including Grand Central Station. We're keeping an eye on the unrest that's unfolding in the Middle East and what's happening here in the U.S. Remember, you can find the latest updates at any time on the 13 News app.